Well, much like Oregon State's NIL deal with Blueprint, where they take your money and don't give it all to the athlete because they've agreed to one of the worst NIL partnerships in college sports, you can't count on much these days. But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL and CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long, starting at just $30 a month. That breaks down to $250 a month, or $30 for the year, ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started. There you go.
It's a good deal.
Unlike the Blueprint deal. Is anybody going to answer for that?
No, right now nobody's answering for it, because why would you, Fans are bailing left and right. People are giving up their tickets. People are cutting off their donations. Who cares?
This feels like something
Let's
that
give
ends
Scott
with
Barnes another award. He needs another Beaver award.
Maybe he'll redo his own deal to give himself more money. Did we find out? Okay, anyway, we'll get into that. There is a crazy story out, so we'll talk about that at 8 o'clock with the author of that story.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm doing great.
We don't get hot and bothered very often on this show, but when you question the dirty poll, I worry you're going to murder me.
No, I'm not murdering anybody.
You put a lot of effort into that dirty poll, and I value it.
Well, look, ranking teams is not an easy thing to do.
Very difficult.
And I also am. I will acknowledge to you this week, I'm taking a little bit of the easy way out. Yeah, you guys just fired your manager. Look at that. Welcome to the club.
He's going to retire. That's a retiring.
It's a
mutual agreement.
Mutual agreement to part ways.
We'll
give him
a Bochy.
Front office suite. You come sit up here for a couple more years.
Thanks for that title, Snick. Enjoy retirement.
Part of me is waiting to see what happens this weekend. I think this is a big weekend.
Huge weekend.
Alabama has a great win now under their belt. One of the best in the season of all college football. They also have a not great loss. Like, it wasn't like they lost on the last single field goal.
That's where we disagree.
Well, I think I still have I'm still waiting to see how good Florida State is. That, to me, is still a question. That was a nice win in week one. Mm-hmm. Then they went on the road and lost to Virginia, who, yes, is now ranked inside the top 25. If Florida State beats Miami this weekend or hangs tough in that game, they look They get them at home.
They lose a close game.
They lose a close game. I'm impressed. Also, you'll go back and say that's why you can't lose the Virginia game, because you had Miami coming up the next week, and now you're 3-2.
It's a good story on UVA, by the way, about how they got their NIL to get together and brought in some portal guys. That's why that team is as good as they are.
Chandler Morris, man, the insurance company or whatever. He's their starting quarterback. And the same goes for Alabama. Like, if Alabama beats Vanderbilt and they look great doing it this weekend, and Florida State loses to Miami, the loss doesn't look as good, but then there's not the conundrum of the same record ranking the teams. And so I just punted on that for 1 week. The Alabama-Florida State question is not an easy one, and I will continue to criticize the AP poll for acting as if head-to-head games do not matter. And if I don't have Florida State in my top 12, how do I rationalize having Alabama in my top 12? I can't do it.
Wouldn't it kind of be funny for me to say, well, they have the better win, and
they do,
wait,
but
so
the
team that has a better win lost to the other team that doesn't have a better win?
How do I square that? How do you square that? You just can't.
Who's on first?
Who's on first? There's no right answer. So I punted that decision for a week, and it'll all play itself out this weekend.
How about this one? This is some fun NFL news that I saw this morning, especially here locally. Browns starting quarterbacks since Baker Mayfield played in 2021.
It was 4 years ago.
Joe Flacco, twice, 2 different versions of him. Bailey Zappi, DTR, Winston, Watson, Driscoll, Walker,
Jeff Driscoll,
Brissett, Case Keenum, and now Dylan Gabriel. Come on down, starting quarterback.
Come on down.
Your first game with a very struggling offense. You're going to go against Brian Flores, who's had all week to sit and stew in Europe.
Yeah,
and is pissed off by how he just allowed an old quarterback who can't move tear him up. Good luck this weekend, Dylan Gabriel. Legitimately rooting for you. This is such a difficult spot to put in, but we said this about Dart against the Chargers, and Dart did okay. I don't want to say Dart did great. He didn't.
He had like 110 passing yards.
Largely
they won the
ran.
Game. Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel now as a starting quarterback has become the 41st Browns quarterback since 1999. This is becoming.
How many of the Packers
tradition.
had in that time? It'd be fun to do the comparison for some of these teams.
It's Favre, Rodgers, and
but you've had guys get hurt. Like Malik Willis started a couple games. So if you're going technically like starting 5 or 6, like the list is still very small.
That's
when you
crazy.
Compare the two of them. It's insane.
41 quarterbacks.
They reestablished themselves, the current version, beginning with Tim Couch.
And they told Baker Mayfield to pound sand, and look how good he's playing right now.
There is a Browns fan that has made a jersey, and it was a Tim Couch jersey. So it's clearly a diehard Cleveland guy who got the jersey once upon a time. He has since removed the number on this jersey, and on the back, he has created patches of every starting quarterback on the back of this Tim Couch jersey. So it starts with
I think
Couch.
he's out of room. I don't think you can put any more on the jersey. Like,
No,
Is
he
it now
legitimately
a full-length dress? I
It has to be, or like what's like the coach
Evening
where
gown.
like the
tails.
the tail coat. Like he needs
Yeah.
one of those where he just kind of goes down to his knee, where you just
Yeah.
keep going down.
This is going to be a tough one, man, and I'm rooting for Dylan to do well. He's such a likable guy. Me and him completely agree. Let's either play in 70 degrees or dome it up. Nobody wants playing this cold weather crap. I'm with him.
Now he plays in Cleveland. Good luck with that.
Look, he's got Jerry Jeudy. Stefanski's a good coach, I think, with offense, specifically just that.
He's
His
ironically one
defense-
of these guys that's carried by his defense.
His
should
defense
get
is number
after
one in total
Carson
yards
Wentz
allowed
this week.
Yeah.
But this is a tall task, no pun
It's
intended,
tough.
for the 5'8" guy to go against that defense again after they just kind of got torched by the Steelers.
Yeah, I think I've just kind of I've loosened up on that opinion because I see where you're coming from. We did this with Dart last week. Now, to be fair, the injuries up front for the Chargers, I think, were the bigger story of that
It
game.
was also a home
Than Jackson
game.
Dart. It was a home game
Yeah.
too, so you're not wrong. So yeah, like overseas, I also just like at some point you got to go sink or swim.
No, I
So, like,
largely agree
The
with
next
that
2
theory.
weeks after their game, like, so would at Detroit have been better because that's where they played this weekend. They got smoked.
No.
Green Bay has one of the best defenses. I know they won that game, but Green Bay, like, you're going against Parsons and all those guys. Hell, in hindsight, maybe the Baltimore game was because Baltimore's defense is not very good, and we thought they were going to be good. So there's just not really an easy answer here. I don't know.
Why did they make this decision right now?
That I
What
don't
was
know.
it about this week specifically?
That I don't know.
They beat Green Bay 2 weeks ago.
Maybe there's just the thought internally of we're going to lose the team if we keep playing Joe Flacco because our defense is so good and he doesn't give us any chance to win.
Like,
He
you have the
threw-
Dolphins in 3 weeks.
You do. You do.
You get Vikings, and then you're at Steelers.
But if you get blown out the next 2 weeks, is there a give up or a quit inside the locker room if that happens? Because Joe
don't
Flacco,
know.
he threw
I don't know.
two of the worst interceptions I've seen in my life this past weekend.
Yes, he did.
He is so bad.
He's
and so
terrible.
I think they're just trying to cling to any hope of like, hey, we have the number one defense in the NFL. If we just have an offense with a pulse,
Yeah.
maybe we're winning some of these games. Like, that was a close competitive game early in Detroit, and then it got out of hand in the second half. The same thing goes for some of their other matchups this season. I don't know how he's going to be because of his size. That's the biggest fear that I have of Gabriel, and I had it when he was at Oregon. He's just small, and it's not easy to be a small quarterback in the NFL.
He's not going to be a pocket
But
guy.
I don't question his mind. I don't
No.
question his ability to read defenses when he can see the defense, and I don't question his arm talent.
Yeah.
Like, I think all of those things are elite, and they've always been elite.
He's athletic.
He's athletic. He can move
Yep.
around. You get him out of the pocket. So, like,
Yeah.
what the hell, man? Take a flyer, see how it goes. I don't think it's going to go great because of that Viking defense, but they also got lit up by Pittsburgh last weekend.
And I
so-
think to counter on that point, too, because I don't disagree with your overall point of, like, you can't just look at every opponent and, whoa, good defense. I'm more just kind of curious, what was it about this specific week going international that you're like, yeah, going on a different body clock and against a team who just stayed over there because they played there last week? That's what I want to do. I think it's fair to question Stefanski's decision and timing of it. On the defensive part, I do worry. I don't want to see him go out there and fail, even though there are people rooting for Shador to get a start, even though he's still going to be a third-string quarterback.
That has to sting, doesn't it?
I mean,
He's ready, though.
yeah. I think here's one counter to me.
Yeah.
I do this all the time in my car. I counter myself. It's kind of odd.
The back and forth arguing is great.
Yeah.
You gotta see both sides of it.
You gotta see both sides of that fence, right? Can't just be Wilson and Home Improvement.
No.
The one aspect that I think Dylan's very good at, that Stefanski's intrigued by, quick release.
Yes.
And Rodgers, as I noted in NFL Factoid Tuesday, had his quickest release since 2016. I don't know if that's going to matter, but like if there's an element of, hey, this could actually be good timing for it because we just saw a quarterback succeed against that defense with it.
Mhm.
The quick timing stuff, get the ball, boom, dump
Catch
it
it
to the
and throw.
flats,
Catch it
quick
and throw.
slants, like
Yeah.
little plays where his average per throw is 6'2", 5'9". It's not great, but as we've noted, and I'm ever evolving as a football fan and viewer of, I have an opinion, and maybe that opinion shifts and it moves, and mine is kind of, if your offense is getting first downs and you score, I kind of don't necessarily live and die on the hill of,
Well, he's not
what was
gonna
your
have-
per yard average throw? Oh, it's
I don't
not.
care.
Like,
Yeah.
I want you to push the ball down the field.
Sure, if you can.
But some of these guys are so efficient at completions that, like, those 6-yard, 5-yard passes, right? Penix and Nix get this all the time. They criticize for it. Dude, if it picks up first downs or it puts you in third and shorts, like, I'm all for what
He's not
works.
going to have three
so.
or 3.5, 4 seconds to wait for all those
No.
guys to get down the field. So
Gotta
move the
identify,
pocket,
yeah.
little half bootlegs or whatever. Give them quick reads, 1, 2. If not, run and make it simple.
He's also admitted, I just throw the ball where I know the route's going to be, and you kind of have to hope at that point.
Better be there. I'm throwing a slant.
Better run that route right,
You
buddy.
better not get jammed on the outside because I'm throwing this thing right over the middle. I also think for them where they're at this year, if you use a top 3 pick on a quarterback, or top 3 round, pick on a quarterback, you owe your the update on Daniels. Have they given one yet?
He's so week to week. He
Yeah,
almost started last week.
That's right.
and
Yeah,
he
we were
didn't,
up
so.
until game time
You
decision.
might have 4 starting Duck quarterbacks in the National Football League. Is that a record?
I'd imagine there's got to be somebody else that's done that.
Stat Boy, look that up. Where's Stat Boy?
We got Stat Boy.
Is he
Stat
not
Boy!
here? Stat Boy. We need a Stat Boy. Where's Elias Sports Bureau when you need him? Come on, Elias. Help us out.
And I believe Dante Moore is now one of the favorites to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. So that's cool. Could have 5.
Can you calm it down with your Duck fandom over there? Jeez. Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. We will talk with Daniel Libet. Damn it.
We'll have to get him on the phone. We'll figure it out. When
I
Swag
don't know.
calls, we'll get the update on how do you say his last name?
He revealed the OSU NIL partnership with Blueprint for their NIL collective. We'll get to that at 8 a.m. Back with a note that I need to check up on and NFC West conversation next on The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, Week 5 of the NFL season, we'll see another rookie make his NFL debut. Former Duck Dylan Gabriel taking the reins of the Browns offense. Joe Flacco going back to the bench. He'll back him up. Shedeur Sanders remains the 3rd QB on the depth chart as Cleveland takes on the Vikings in London this Sunday. Day 2 of the MLB postseason, closeout games in the wild card round. The Tigers, after getting 14 strikeouts from Tarek Skubal, will try to knock out the Guardians in Cleveland, who send Tanner Bybee to the mound opposite Casey Mize. First pitch, 10:08. It'll be on 910 ESPN Portland, pregame at 9:30. Cubs rallied with back-to-back home runs in the 5th inning of Game 1 for a 3-1 victory. They can sweep the Padres today. Andrew Kittredge scheduled to start opposite Dylan Cease. 12:08 first pitch on KATU Channel 2. In the Bronx, Yankees looking to avoid elimination after a 3-1 loss to the Red Sox in Game 1. Carlos Rodon takes the ball for the Pinstripes opposite Brian Bello for Boston. 2:30 coverage on 910 ESPN Portland. The nightcap in L.A. Dodgers hope they can get 5 home runs again against the Reds. 6:08 first pitch, Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound against Zach Littell for Cincinnati. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurts missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of and 1080 AM.
Oregon State has the worst NIL contract with a company called Blueprint. We'll talk with the author of that story from Sportico at 8 a.m. That'll be the Daily Ticker. It's a Statter Story Wednesday. Are you guys ready for Statter Story?
I'm ready to go.
You like your Statter Stories?
I like my stat and my...
Swag seems very out on
he
his
gave a más o menos
story.
there. He's saying, kind of más o menos. I don't know.
Dude.
You like that, Paul?
I haven't heard más o menos in a long time.
It's one of the few Spanish phrases I still remember to this day. Not a lot
Más o
stuck
menos.
up here in this dumb brain, but that's one of them.
I'm not going to have time for my NFC West conversation. Maybe we just hold that for tomorrow since there's a NFC West tilt.
Yeah, we got back-to-back weeks of NFC West football on Thursday night.
Yeah, we do.
Purdy's still iffy.
Are they going to start Adrian Martinez? Is Mac Jones back? Is he healthy?
My
We're going to get Adrian Martinez starting a Thursday night football game?
Is my team the most fraudulent 3-1 team to ever exist?
Yeah, I think they were 3-1, the most fraudulent 3-0 team, and now they're the most. And if they somehow win on Thursday night, tomorrow night, they will be the most fraudulent 4-1 team.
Hammer the Rams. That's what I would say as a Niner fan. Hammer the Rams.
Hammer.